Hello and welcome, folks. Posmir. I've got a very nice first match lined up for you all in this round 7 of Group A. So we've actually going to start this off with Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker. I'm going to give us just a tiny bit of time, so start this a tiny bit early. I think this is well enough. And we'll get going here with this first match. Just wanted to adjust the mic a little bit. Now we're getting very close to the end of this tournament. Right now, The Undertaker is sitting just one match behind John Cena and Randy Orton. Very close to being that top spot in this bracket. Whereas Brock Lesnar is a little bit behind par. Actually a bit further behind. He's in 6th place, but he's tied with a few other guys. There's actually a 4-way tie for 6th place right now. As there's a couple of ties fairly across the standings of Group A. We got a nice suplex coming in by Brock as he tries to take down Undertaker. A match that we will be seeing very soon at Hell in a Cell. This is something in particular that many people were not expecting this match so soon after SummerSlam. I would have personally probably expected it either Survivor Series or WrestleMania, the big four. Or also it could have been at Royal Rumble, although it would be somewhat overshadowing the Royal Rumble, or at least detract from it a bit. The Royal Rumble is a night that you can do some other things that maybe people won't be too happy about, but then they can be happy about the Royal Rumble, or you'll mess up the Royal Rumble like they do some years. Well, we'll have to see who they get through that Royal Rumble this year. It's going to be very interesting as we get a nice suplex. It's going to be a very interesting couple of months in the WWE, what they're going to do. And especially in the next 6 weeks, as John Cena is going to be leaving, and we'll have some new stars up there. Recently, Tyler Breeze got on SmackDown. He got pulled up from NXT and is now on SmackDown, which you'll see probably this week. When I initially heard that he was going to be up on the main roster, I was wondering if he was going to take the belt from Cena, but I guess not. Nice clothesline from Brock, taking Taker down onto the mat, and now going to give him a few big stiff punches right to the face of Taker. Brock Lesnar now setting up with his first German suplex and a second one, and now a third, tossing around the giant Undertaker. Undertaker just hops right back up and might actually set himself up for a comeback maneuver here. Kind of whip big Brock Lesnar in the corner here as he can perhaps hear the crowd going wild. Nice big clothesline. And now Undertaker going for that snake eyes in the corner. Nice follow-up into this giant big boot. And a leg dropped to polish it off. Undertaker now possibly going to try and go for another big move. Gets caught though as Brock Irish whips him into the opposite corner. Has Undertaker turned around, but not stopped as he's able to get a nice counter. And now an Irish whip of his own, sending Brock into the opposite corner. Couple of big shots by Undertaker. Another snake eyes for good measure, taking him down onto the mat. Undertaker looking to grab him, but seeming to wait just a moment. Now going to grab the leg of Brock and target the back of that knee. And both of these guys absolutely giant stars. This Group A is absolutely packed with household names. With stars like Randy Orton, John Cena, Batista, and such. We got Brock now going for his giant F5. Will one be enough? Will Undertaker be able to kick out of this first F5 for a 1, 2, 3? No. Undertaker loses once again to Brock Lesnar. That brings Brock Lesnar up on the rankings. He puts him above all of those other competitors that are tied for 6th place. He now has 3 wins out of 7 matches. Now, after this round, they're just going to have 2 more matches left. So we'll have some definite answers of who won't be in the match. Right now, we already have some definitive answer. We know that Chris Jericho will not be going on with 6 losses in a row. The main question is, will he be able to get his first win here? Perhaps tonight. He'll have 2 opportunities tonight, and then one more. I believe I'll be next streaming on Friday or Saturday, one of the 2. Now we've got Randy Orton and The Rock. And we will go to the Royal Rumble. Fast entrance off. Gonna refresh the page, see if anybody's giving some votes. See if everything's working fine. Alright, no other comments. Alright, let's start this match then. Just trying to keep an eye on everything here. As we got Randy Orton and The Rock starting out the second match here of our lineup of matches here tonight. Tie up in the center of the ring. One megastar in The Rock, one of the biggest names of all time. And then one of the most consistent wrestlers of the WWE over the past few years. Aside from a man named John Cena, Randy Orton is a great number 2 guy for the company. Has always been putting on great matches for a long time in his career. As now he has a big matchup against The Rock. How are these guys doing in the standings here? The Rock now with a couple of showy punches taking down Randy Orton. The Rock is also just 1 match behind. Randy Orton is actually tied in first place with John Cena, that man I mentioned earlier, and The Rock here is just 1 match behind him. So if The Rock is able to beat Randy Orton here, he will be able to tie Randy Orton, but they will then both be possibly behind John Cena. I'll give John Cena, I believe it is a half game disadvantage. That's the sort of point notation that you get when you are a game behind, but you still have a game to play. As you have a 50% chance of winning, 50% chance of losing, you're a half game behind. So you got a headlock and a snap suplex. Actually, John Cena would be a half game ahead. No, he would still be a half game behind. No, he'd be a half game ahead because he has 5 and he has a 50% chance of winning a new one. Oh my God, Spinebuster by The Rock coming in very quickly in this matchup against Randy Orton as we get a pinfall onto Randy for a 1, 2, only a 2 count as Randy Orton kicks out here. Now, very quick matches are in your favor if you win the match. If there is an eventual 2-person tie or a multi-person tie at the top, it will be match time length that decides the tiebreaker here. As he turns over The Rock and rolls him into the center of the ring. Randy Orton now going for a high elbow into the face of The Rock. Dragging The Rock around the center of the ring now. What's Randy Orton going to do? This is a signature. No, he's going to do a running knee right into that face. Once again, targeting the face of The Rock. Going to weaken that for that RKO. Going to try and take him out. And it seems like another high knee coming in here across his face. As we get it looked like Rock was going to go for something big, but Randy Orton able to grab him and put him in a big suplex. Nice uppercut and a back elbow from Rock and Orton as they both trying to get their next big move out of the gate. Randy Orton hasn't quite gotten that signature maneuver off yet. He's going to take down The Rock down onto the mat. The Rock might be able to hit that rock bottom at any time. We don't know yet. The Rock looking a bit dazed as Randy Orton now going to go for a nice takedown, reverse neckbreaker, taking Rock down onto the mat once again. Randy Orton now putting The Rock in the ropes, going to go for this second rope apron or second rope DDT. slamming the head of The Rock once again. Now will Randy Orton set up for that RKO? No, he's going to first go for a pin for a 1 and a 2. Only a 2 count. Randy Orton probably going to be looking for that RKO now, running for it. And there it is. Just barely able to get it. Now absolutely out of energy, having to crawl over after he just ran a whole bunch to get that RKO, trying to catch The Rock. He's actually standing up a bit, but then falls back down on The Rock for the 2 count and the 3 count. Randy Orton's your winner with another RKO, taking out The Rock. Now that keeps Randy Orton's pace for first place finish. Now he is tied with John Cena, but he has a victory over John Cena. So if these 2 men are tied at the very end, just the 2 of them, it will be Randy Orton who is the winner. Another one-on-one matchup coming up. And this is John Cena's opportunity to continue or fall behind. And his opponent for this match is Big Dave Batista. Once again, we have another movie star against a big name talent in WWE. This time it is Dave Batista, one of the members of the Guardians of the Galaxy as Drax, versus John Cena, one of the most prolific champions of the past few decades. Batista now going to go for what looks like a snake eyes here, slamming the face of John Cena against that top turnbuckle. Couple of strikes into the gut of John Cena, and John Cena able to recover and get a couple of big strikes on his own, getting some side swipes into the kidneys of Batista. Batista getting taken down now, drag across the ring into the center here as John Cena goes for a high elbow into the face. Nice head snapmare there by John Cena. And now going to attack the leg of Dave Batista. Couple of big strikes into the gut. Counter by Dave Batista into a slap to the face. Headlock takedown. John Cena now already going for that 5-knuckle shuffle. But a counter there by Dave Batista. Very nice. I was saying this was actually it felt a bit early there for a 5-knuckle shuffle. But Batista able to counter into a nice kick to the head. Now Batista perhaps going to go for that spine buster. Who gets taken out to the outside here by John Cena. John Cena always with the great ring awareness, as now he does a nice hip toss to take Batista into the center of the ring once again. Perhaps going to go for that 5-knuckle shuffle again. No, going to go for that high elbow into the face of Dave Batista. As Batista now going to slowly get up. Nice takedown once again by John Cena, going over the top of Batista. Once again, going to set up for that 5-knuckle shuffle for a second time. This one looks like it's going to connect. He didn't get that dodge out of the way, and he gets shot across the throat now with that punch. Going to get a pinfall by John Cena for a 1, 2, 3. No. Batista able to counter. Will Dave now go into that AA, or get put into an AA rather, by John Cena? Cena now actually looking to go towards the ropes now, grabbing the head of Batista. And he's going to send Batista over the top rope onto the apron. And Batista looking very dazed. It looks like he might be a bit more as he gets his head locked and put into a DDT on the apron. Batista looking very, very dazed now as John Cena takes big strikes and now a Uthrez press with big strikes into the face with a couple of big punches. I'm seeing comments now. Okay. Hello. Hello, Charles Saltz. Hello, Dope Ace. Hello, Gaminati. Hello, Justin. Okay. I wasn't having comments load for a little while. A headlock onto Batista as now John Cena with a belly-to-belly suplex, sending Batista down onto the mat. Now it looks like John Cena is going to go for that AA after that brief intermission on the outside. Batista gets put down onto the mat for that AA and now put into the pin for 1, 2, 3. John Cena wins. He is still tied in first place with Randy Orton. Neither of the movie stars get a victory here tonight. Once again, you can get all of these scores and the previous scores on challenge.com/WWE 2K15_G1 to keep up in the tournament. All of the tournament participants are also in the description of this live stream. The next competitors are the Big Show and Kane. So let's grab Kane, and then we need the Big Show. I was actually making some recordings on my PC version just a little bit before this live stream and forgotten that I had made the Big Show a woman. So I couldn't select him for a match against other men. And that was a funny little moment to me, because I've been messing around with my game a whole lot. I've pretty much abandoned any sort of semblance of keeping it intact, as I'm just trying to pump out a few last mods before WWE 2K16 comes out. As we have a bunch of people in the comments, let me know if you guys have been seeing any of this 2K16 news that have been coming out in the past few days, as it seems like the embargo has dropped. Many other WWE live streamers and, well, not live streamers, but YouTube personalities have been releasing games news about the new game. And for those that do not know, this tournament is a lead-up to 2K16, where these 20 competitors in this tournament are my Raw roster for 2K16. The top 2 competitors, one from Group A and one from Group B, will be competing for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship in the first main event of my Raw Universe mode. Big boot from Big Show going over the top of Kane, as it seems like Big Show has a bit of an advantage going into the early goings of this matchup. Big back elbow into the back of the head of Kane, headlock applied, but countered by Kane as Kane now gets Big Show down onto the mat. A bit of string of offense between these two guys as we get a nice leg drop from Kane across the throat of Big Show. Countered strike into a big slap across the chest from Big Show, as now he goes into an Irish whip, sending Kane across the ring. Big Show now going to go for a big power slam, going to walk Kane around the ring. As we get a dodge out of the way by Kane, as Kane now gets a big strike into the face, able to get under Big Show up against the ropes, and now get a couple of elbows into the lower back of Big Show, taking him down onto the mat. Kane now going to grab the leg, target that underneath the knee with a big kick and another one on top of the knee for good measure, as he picks up the Big Show, goes for those big strikes with that gloved hand, countered by Big Show into a big strike across that face. Headlock by Big Show brings him back to the center of the ring for a big back breaker across the side. Big kick into the gut from the 450-plus pounder Big Show. Big boot. Signature maneuver. Kane, well, not quite signature, but, you know, a move that Kane is known for is the big boot, as he picks up Big Show after those series of stomps. Gonna go for this choking maneuver. This is actually a signature of Kane in 2K15. This is a submission maneuver trying to get Big Show choked out in this matchup, but we get a wave off of the ref, and Kane lets go. Kidney shot here as Kane might try and go for that choke slam. Headlock applied as he grabs Big Show. We saw this just a few moments ago. Countered by Big Show as Kane was trying to put him out on the apron. What will Big Show do here? He's just going to let Kane walk back into the center of the ring Will Kane try and go for it again? Yes, he's grabbing the head of the Big Show. He wants to go for that apron DDT. But a counter by Big Show once again all the way to the outside of the ring this time as Big Show just topples him down to the concrete. Let me know what you guys are most excited for WWE 2K16 after all of that news. I started recording a bit of a news topic earlier tonight, and I'll probably be releasing it before the weekend. A big spear by the Big Show taking Kane down as that's a signature maneuver for a 2 count. Yes, it's just a 2 count. As Kane is able to kick out of that at 3. But there is a chokeslam now, mocking Kane's own chokeslam as Big Show goes for a pin for a 1, 2, 3. Big Show opting to win with a chokeslam rather than his WMD against the Demon Kane. I am hoping that I can do an okay job of creating a CAW in 2K16. I might need to try and actually make one in 2K15 just to polish up what little skills I have, because I haven't made one at all. Now it is the man that has had the most unfortunate tournament so far, Chris Jericho. For those of us just joining this tournament, Chris Jericho has yet to win a match in the first 6 rounds. This is now round 7 of 9. So he's just got a little more time before he will go victoryless in this tournament. And here his opportunity for tonight, or at least his first opportunity. We'll be seeing him one more time tonight. He has to face off against Mark Henry. Mark Henry is 2-4 out of 6 matches. So he's 1-2 and lost 4. The Buried Alive match may be showcase exclusive at best. It will not be a match that you can play in exhibition or universe mode. We're going to get a big splash coming in by Mark Henry now across the chest of Chris Jericho. Pick up across the face. Headlock applied as he gets a nice back elbow into the head. I am very happy to have 100 cost slots back in WWE 2K16. Even going for the PC version, which has 50, back down to the 25 that the console version is a huge drop after I've gone back to this version just for this particular tournament. So even quadrupling the console version to 100 is a huge improvement, as we get a big walking power slam by the world's strongest man. As Chris Jericho now writhing in pain down on the mat, he slowly rolls out of the way, but now gets grabbed and thrown across the ring by Mark Henry. He's just countering everything Jericho's trying to throw at him. Jericho tried to run at him, but he gets put into a giant tilt-a-whirl slam now for a splash pin for a 2 count, just barely kicking out at 2. I've seen most people actually kick out of that at 1. This is unfortunate for Chris Jericho. We'll have to see if he's able to pull out a victory out of this one. Mark Henry might get a bit too distracted here with this. No, not quite. He's actually going to whip Jericho back into the center of the ring, as it was a bit too close to the 10 count for Mark Henry's liking. Back elbow, but a big scoop slam into this big headbutt. That is a signature maneuver of Mark Henry for some reason in 2K15. He goes for the pin onto Jericho for a 1, 2, 2.5 as Jericho just able to kick out. Now he's got him in a giant bear hug right in the center of the ring. Now will Chris Jericho, a very masterful submission wrestler, tap out of this giant bear hug by the world's strongest man, just clinching on that back of Chris Jericho. Will Jericho find a way to get out of this giant bear hug? We see the ref trying to gauge Chris Jericho if he's going to be able to get out of it or if he's going to submit here. And Mark Henry seemed to grow tired of holding Chris Jericho as he lets Jericho down on the mat. But that was, very nice enziguri from Chris Jericho, able to get some actual offense here against Mark Henry. Now going to grab the arm, and he's got the big man down on the mat. He wants to keep him there for the moment as now he picks him up. Dazed is Mark Henry. Tried to go for that second time. The enziguri missing the second time. Mark Henry able to dodge out of the way. Now a big walking power slam going to come down on that damaged back of Chris Jericho. And you can see Chris Jericho writhing even more in pain now after that giant bear hug undoubtedly took a lot of energy out of the back of Chris Jericho. And now we see the huge backbreaker and a pin now for a 1, 2, 3. No, that backbreaker is not enough. Chris Jericho just barely able to kick out. Big stomp into the back of Chris Jericho now. And another big punch. Gonna take Jericho down on the mat and go for another pin, trying to tire out Jericho. He's got a 2 count, and he's got a 3 count after just throwing his head down on the mat. Jericho was just out of energy. Chris Jericho's unfortunate tournament continues. Mark Henry now has 3 victories, placing him in a tie for 6th place with Brock Lesnar. For the rest of the group, we have Randy Orton and John Cena in 1st place with 6 wins, Big Show with 5 in 3rd place, Undertaker and The Rock tied at 4th place with 4 wins apiece, and Batista and Kane at 2 wins apiece at the bottom. That is one thing that would have been somewhat nice to have in the next gen version, but I understand them trying to give the last gen people something that the next gen people didn't have. The NXT mode was definitely pretty cool. I would imagine that you'd probably be getting something similar this year because they didn't include a staple of NXT stars again. We are now going over to Group B, and that is the modern group. So we have Daniel Bryan starting out this first match against Sheamus. These guys most definitely have a history together, and you probably know of it if you know of Daniel Bryan at all, because he pretty much made his name after this particular WrestleMania that they had. I will be getting the game on PS4 for those wondering. This is also on PS4, this particular version of 2K15. Nice big boot into the face by Daniel Bryan as he's able to get a nice bit of an advantage onto Sheamus. In the early goings of this match, going to try and keep the big man down on the mat with a couple of stiff kicks. Going to try and gain control by keeping him up there. Headlock countered by Sheamus, taking Daniel Bryan now down to the mat. Daniel Bryan is the leader of Group B after 6 rounds. He is the only man with 5 victories. Sheamus here is tied for 2nd place with 4 victories. He is tied with Ryback and Roman Reigns. Oh, I'm aware that Daniel Bryan made a name for himself several years before, but anyone aware of Daniel Bryan probably knows of their unfortunate booking of him at that particular WrestleMania with AJ Lee, another person who will not be in 2K16, but it's completely understandable. I actually have a video of people that were not going to be included in 2K16 And I didn't include AJ because I don't think she was really removed from the company at that time. And with the way of how cutoff systems work in the 2K games, it was kind of up in the air for a little while if she was going to be included or not, because her last match was at WrestleMania. And we got a pickup here by Daniel Bryan, headlock into an Irish whip, sending the Irishman into the corner and getting a nice drop kick into the lower back of Sheamus. Attacking the arm once again, trying to weaken him for that yes lock. Headlock applied in the center of the ring. Going to go for a nice snap suplex, sending Sheamus over the top, slamming him down onto the mat. Sheamus looking very dazed, but able to counter that into a nice Irish whip clothesline combination, or more of a lariat, rather. As we get now Sheamus with the Irish Curse backbreaker onto Daniel Bryan. Got to go for a pin here for 1, 2. If Sheamus is actually able to pin Daniel Bryan here, he will tie with him at the top of the leaderboard, at least temporarily. Or, well, they will be the top of the leaderboard no matter what happens in the rest of this round. However, there is the opportunity for other people to tie them up at the top should Sheamus win. After this series of giant strikes, sending Daniel Bryan out to the outside. Nice counter here by Daniel Bryan here as we get a takedown here. The pre-order bonuses for 2K16 are the Terminators. There are 2 of them. If you are hesitant about pre-ordering, there has been sort of a record here. Oh my god, a big suplex into the steel steps by Daniel Bryan. Absolutely devastating onto Sheamus. But he comes back into the ring. A lot of the pre-order bonuses have been available for purchase after the fact. For just a few dollars. Oh, bro kick out of nowhere by Sheamus. Will Sheamus be able to get the win here on Daniel Bryan for 1, 2, and 3? He does. He is now tied with Daniel Bryan up at the top. I made a thumbnail that was not accurate, as this race for second has become a race for first, as Sheamus has now beaten Daniel Bryan and brought him down on the same level as these other competitors with 2 losses. Should Sheamus and Daniel Bryan remain tied at the end of this tournament, it will be Sheamus who is the victor now, as he has now beaten Daniel Bryan. Our next match is a couple of hours. Rusev and Ryback. Gonna select that Elimination Chamber arena. Just felt like showing off some of the different arenas in order. Just to also keep myself able to keep these organized after the fact. So we are all set to go. And here we got a tie-up here. Right in the center of the ring. Between these 2 big guys, these are actually 2 of, I would say, my favorite guys on the roster. I very much like both their personalities. Of course, one is a face and one is a heel. I think, however, Ryback gained a lot of my respect during his run with Heyman and Curtis Axel as the Heyman guys. I know they didn't really do much during that time, and Heyman was kind of distracted with Brock Lesnar, but Ryback got to show his character and his personality a bit more. And he's gotten to show who he is a few times, and it's always been a very interesting character. Something very in particular, if you have the WWE Network, I would suggest watching the Intercontinental Champion Dinner for 3. And it is between Daniel Bryan, Ryback, and I believe Dolph Ziggler. Back body drop by Rusev taking Ryback down on the mat. You got to hear a couple of nice stories by Ryback. And of course, Rusev is one of the best consistent characters in WWE. I do like how the character select is going to a non-picture based and a name-based system. It would get very cluttered at 120 stars base in the game, and they're also adding 30 more after. It's going to be hard even to go through them alphabetically, but going through them visually alphabetically is a bit harder than just going through them alphabetically. Nice jumping sidekick from Rusev, the signature maneuver to take Ryback down onto the mat for only a one count, able to get a kick out there is Ryback after a there was an enziguri to the back of the head of Ryback. Rusev gonna drag Ryback across the mat. Ryback needs to win this match to stay in the hunt for first place. He was tied with Sheamus, who just won his match against Daniel Bryan. If Ryback were to tie these other two guys, if Ryback wins this matchup, he will be tied with those other two guys. Headlock applied. Oh, there's a comeback coming in by Ryback. A big stiff shot and a back body drop. Ryback just calling for more. Big spine buster right in the center of the ring. Now will Ryback go to that corner? It seems like he is going to call for that big meat hook clothesline coming out of the corner. Going to fold Rusev in half. There it is. Pulled him halfway across the ring by his throat. As we get a rope break there by Rusev. Ryback now might go for that shell shock. He's got a headlock applied. Yes, this is the shell shock coming in now. As he's going to prance Rusev around the ring. He's got him down on the mat. It seems like Ryback losing a bit of energy after that. Gonna just have to put his hand over over Rusev's chest for that pin. Taking his sweet time here. Falling into the pin now for a 1-2 count. He took too much time. Allowed Rusev to recover too much after that giant shell shock. Big strikes by Ryback. Now Rusev gonna have to counter. Irish whip around the ring. Takes him almost into the ref. Back body drop taking Ryback down onto the mat. Rusev now gonna go for a big nerve pinch. Going into that massive shoulder of Ryback. And just trying to weaken the nerves in that muscular area. And now taking Ryback down on the mat. Rusev might try to go for the accolade at some point. But a big counter. Back elbow into the back of the head. Strikes. And now... Oh, big counters once again. It looked like he was going to go for some sort of submission maneuver. There was a jumping sidekick, but countered into this big slam by Ryback. I believe that's a signature maneuver of his own. When he gets a pickup here on Rusev rather. And there's that big meat hook clothesline taking him, folding him in half. And there's a rope break once again. Will Ryback go for a second shell shock now? He seems to be very tired. His arms falling down to his sides a bit. Irish whip around the ring. Big back elbow into the face, taking him down to the mat. Ryback now pick up on the head of Rusev, trying to figure out how to finish this guy, how to end this matchup. He's got him in the center of the ring. What's he going for here? He's not quite got anything. Rusev able to counter. No, counter by Ryback into Rusev, as Ryback now gets that counter into the pin for a 1-2 count. Rusev kicking out now. Big kick on the side. Nice elbow into the lower back by Ryback. Rusev getting picked up now. Headlock counter by Rusev, taking Ryback down on the mat. Will Rusev be able to try and get a victory out of here? Got to get another one of those jumping sidekicks like he is now. He's got him down on the mat. Will that be enough to take out the big guy Ryback as he gets a 1, 2, 3. 2 jumping sidekicks to the face are enough to take down the Ryback. Okay, gonna go through some of your guys' comments here. There are 3 Stone Colds, 3 Mick Foleys, 3 Stings, and 3 Undertakers. So much for no clones, but they did say 120 without clones, which they do have, I believe, if you count Mick Foley. I don't play the game a whole lot. As you might notice, I'm simulating all of these matches. Ooh, we got a nice one going on now. Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. This could be a decent match if they set it up right. I am pretty sure they've had this match before. But I selected the wrong arena. But we will go with it. There's supposed to be an elimination chamber. Yeah, I know the different gimmicks aren't clones. That's why Kane and Corporate Kane are the same person, even though they're different gimmicks. They're not 100% consistent, but I can't blame them to not be. The way the game works is... So I've been modding it on PC, so I know why they select certain characters to be different slots and they don't need to for other people. Kane can be Corporate Kane and Kane because they're just going to announce him as Kane. However, the different versions of The Undertaker have different announcements, where they're from, their weight, etc. And that's stuff that you can't change. If you go and mod into 2K15 and insert a wrestler that the game doesn't expect, they're not going to be able to announce for them. They can't announce their name. They can't announce their location or weight. And this happens with, all kinds of mods. And that's why if you have Stunning Steve Austin and Stone Cold Steve Austin, those need to be 2 separate slots because they have 2 different announcers. And this is the same for Sting. This is the same for Sting in this year's game as well because they have 2 different announcements. Ooh, big throw by Roman Reigns as he throws Seth Rollins across the ring. So we got a big smack in the knee against the mat. There is quite a few matches they added to the game as we see Seth Rollins actually picking up Roman Reigns and getting this big buckle bomb. Taking Roman Reigns to the clean. Is going to turn him over for a pin for a 1-2. Only a 2 count. Let's see where these guys are. Roman Reigns, 4-2, in 4th place. Seth Rollins has only gotten 1 win, is in 9th place, just ahead of Rusev, who's only gotten 1 win. You get only a 1 count as Seth Rollins gets a kick out there. Seth Rollins would love to get a win. Would put him up there with the likes of Dolph Ziggler. Nice shots there, and a Superman punch into the ropes for good measure as he pushes Rollins away from the ropes for a 2 count, and Rollins just able to kick out here after that big Superman punch. Headlock applied, and now Roman's going to take him up against the ropes, going to try and pound the head of Seth Rollins once again, but now he's going to be pounding it down against that apron. Headlock applied down into the mat, right in that corner beam of the ring. Countered by Seth Rollins as he sends Roman Reigns back into the ring. Roman will now have to finish this match in some other fashion as Seth Rollins gets himself back into the ring and he looks a lot more refreshed. Striking to the knee of Roman Reigns and another big one as Seth Rollins gets a headlock here. And he's going to get a nice bridging suplex for a pin into a 1-2. Only a 2 count. Roman Reigns able to kick out. Very nice pinfall there by Seth Rollins. Able to try and get an advantage back here with a reverse headlock. Now for a reverse DDT, taking Roman Reigns down on the mat once again. Will Seth Rollins be able to go into that Seth finisher that he's got? He's sending Roman into the corner once again. Will this be another buckle bomb here? He's got him set up here. Yes, it looks like he's going for a second buckle bomb onto Roman Reigns here perhaps going to turn him, or Roman Reigns just turning himself over as he just falls into the pin for a 1, 2 count. 2 buckle bombs are not enough. Roman Reigns able to kick out there. Seth Rollins now going to go for a big scoop slam, taking him down on the mat, and a flying knee into the face of Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns seemed to take a lot of damage from that one, as we got a pick up here by Seth Rollins now. Counter strikes, countered by Roman. Roman for the big strike to the head. Irish whip into the corner. And a hip toss by Roman Reigns as he goes for a pinfall now for a 1, 2 count as Seth kicks out. Roman Reigns looking for a way to finish this matchup, as is Seth Rollins. Roman Reigns has some ground to gain and would definitely like a win in this matchup. This would put him up with Ryback, with Sheamus, with Daniel Bryan in first place. Is a 4-way tie there. He's got a headlock from Reigns, and nothing happens. Oh, there's a big punch there. Headlock applied once again. Now a belly-to-belly suplex by Roman Reigns. Seeming to be a bit tired now. Going to fall into a pin once again for a 1, 2, 3. That belly-to-belly suplex finishes the match for Roman Reigns, and now he is 5-2, tied for first place. So Roman Reigns is your winner and is now tied with Sheamus and Ryback and Daniel Bryan. We got a 4-way tie at the top after round 7. We are getting very close to the last rounds. Hello, Tyler. They can seem to do a lot with cutscenes in the 2K showcases. Next up, we have The Miz and one Bray Wyatt. Both of these guys starting out the match here. Miz with his own swagger and Bray Wyatt with his own mystique. Armbar applied, a big shot into the arm of the Miz. Now we get a nice float over DDT, taking the Miz down on the mat. Hello, Mason. Nice takedown from the Miz once again, as it seems like the Miz has a bit of an advantage in the starts of this matchup. Where are these guys in the standings? You may possibly wonder. They are both tied for 5th place, right behind the set of superstars tied for 1st place. Now these guys are 2 matches behind the guys in 1st place, so it is highly unlikely, nearly impossible for these guys to get 1st place. Just barely, I think. The winner of this match might have a shot, but the other one will be mathematically impossible, depending on who's facing who in the last 2 rounds here. As we got to pick up here. Nice couple of strikes by The Miz, but Bray Wyatt able to counter into a big knee to the gut, and now a big strike to the face. Some giant moves. Miz able to deflect one of those shots and get a headlock here. Big elbow to the back of the head. Going to go for another headlock into the center of the ring. Going to go for a suplex. Very vertical suplex on the very heavy Bray Wyatt. He's not a super heavyweight. Definitely not. But he's not a light man. Miz showing a lot of strength with that vertical suplex. And now a reverse suplex, showing some more strength from Mr. Mizanin. As we got a headlock driver, taking him down onto the mat. He goes for the pinfall onto Bray for a 1-2. Only a 2 count. Miz out of the way. Counter by Miz into a big strike. Headlock into the center of the ring. Miz still keeping advantage here. Might be able to set up for that face-crushing finale soon. Big boot across the face. Going to try and keep some damage on that face as he picks up Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt able to counter into a nice back body drop with that Irish whip. Counter with a big boot. As Bray Wyatt now gets his own bit of advantage, or bit of damage rather, onto The Miz. Headlock applied. Big back elbow into the back of the head of The Miz. Miz counters with a knee to the gut and a big cross chop here. Irish whip around the ring. Miz perhaps going to go takedown by Bray Wyatt. I wasn't sure what Miz was going to go for, but he didn't get to go for anything as Bray Wyatt countered with that takedown. I like The Miz. The Miz ain't that bad. He ends up being more of a movie star nowadays, which is not exactly the best. But his run with Mizdow made Mizdow a star. There's no doubt about it. As we got a big takedown. Well, it remade him a star, as he was, Damien Sandow was a star of his own right. As we get a 2 count out of a nice slam by Bray Wyatt. Will Bray Wyatt be able to convert this into an actual victory now? Headlock apply. I actually like both of these guys a fair bit. Bray Wyatt's very cool. Back body drop onto Miz, taking him down to the mat. Miz is definitely not cool, but he's a great wrestler. At least nowadays. He can put on a really good match in a fair amount of situations. He can't carry a match like some people can, even especially in a situation in which he is going to lose. He isn't Dolph Ziggler's level, but he is still a very good level of wrestler, in my opinion. I can't say anything for his acting. I've never seen any of his films, and I don't particularly plan to. I know he's had some particularly bad films, and they're mostly WWE films anyways, as he gets a 2 count counter. Slow to get up is Bray Wyatt, as now he gets big strikes and strikes coming back from Miz. Low drop kick into the knee, taking Bray Wyatt down on the mat. He's going to go for a pin now for a 1, 2, 3. That low drop kick is enough to win. And it brings Miz up the ladder just a little bit. Fun fact, The Miz was actually the lowest ranked superstar going into this group. He started out this at rank 10. And now he is rank 5 after 7 matches. He is right below the upper echelon that is currently Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, Sheamus, and Ryback. I think the Stone Cold Showcase is probably going to be around like 19 matches. That's what my head says. I forget if I actually saw an exact number somewhere. It might be less than that. Here we have the final match, Group B. We got Dolph Ziggler. Dean Ambrose is right next to Dolph Ziggler. That's who he's facing. They're not at Royal Rumble. They're at Elimination Chamber. Fast off start match. He is better than... Oh. I think Miz is better than Eva Marie. I mean, like, they're... Eva Marie's on a whole different level of bad. Sorry if that popped the mic or made an unpleasant noise as I actually shot that vocalization into the side of the mic instead of the front of the mic. But here we get a nice takedown by The Miz. The Miz is not in this match. That was Dolph Ziggler. Apologies. Low dropkick into the side of the head of Dean Ambrose as these two guys face off. Gonna check real quick where these guys are in the brackets. Dolph Ziggler is in 8th place. Dean Ambrose is in 6th. So Dolph Ziggler is mathematically impossible to win. Dean Ambrose is a long shot at 2 matches behind, or rather a match and a half behind. He'd have to win this one. As we get a low elbow into the heart of Dolph Ziggler. Headlock applied, double armbar, or double underhook rather, suplex by Dean Ambrose. Somewhat similar to his double underhook DDT that he took from Mick Foley. Now, I personally much prefer his headlock driver that he had. I might be inclined to give it to him in 2K16, as I'm hoping to use some guys a lot more in 2K16. I had sort of a random universe mode in 2K15, which wasn't exactly enjoyable. It worked. I was able to get a lot of matches out and get a lot of statistics out of it, but it just wasn't fun enough. So I'm going to be more hands-on in 2K16, and part of that is this tournament. I mean, I'm already telling you guys, here's 20 guys, and I'm going to tell you who's going to be in the first main event for that title, as we get a big power slam there by Dolph Ziggler. And now Heartstopper elbows into the heart of Dean Ambrose. Just 3 of them for good measure. I heard the rumor that it was supposed to be a different legend, but they weren't able to get the licensing, so they could only really put her up against Paige. Maybe it was Honma? No, it was Home. I just said a word that probably is not right. So you got to count for a 2 count. Yeah, Bull Monaco. That's who it was. Okay, after that I said a completely wrong name. Belly-to-belly suplex by Dean Ambrose, taking Dolph Ziggler down on the mat. Dolph Ziggler had a fair amount of offense here, but now it seems like Dean Ambrose able to get his own string of offense against Dolph Ziggler, as now he takes Dolph down on the mat, drag him around in the ring a little bit, and going to go for a big boot, taking him down onto the mat. Going to drag him around the ring some more. What's the Lunatic Fringe going to go for? He's going to go for a pin for only a 1 count, as Dean Ambrose continues to try and keep the pressure on to Dolph Ziggler. Headlock applied here, as now Dolph going to put Dean Ambrose up against the ropes. This is where Dean wants to be. Not quite. Or that's where he wants Dolph Ziggler to be, as he sends Dolph Ziggler into the ropes. That is one thing that I have wrong with Ambrose. The AI sometimes has a very hard time releasing his signature maneuver. If anything, I might end up making his... I forget if you can have alternate signatures. That might just be a normal move that I make him do and not have his signature be it, because having him do it in every single match is somewhat annoying. I have not gotten to play the game, and honestly, I don't play 2K15 all that much, so I won't be able to say much about the gameplay difference. I do see that the differences they have decided on are probably better in scope. The match count out, it looks easier to read. Not perhaps easier to do, but easier to read, which is what you want there. It's very easy for the human mind to really perceive rotational motion, as we see clocks all the time. And a nice reverse neckbreaker by Dean Ambrose, taking Dolph Ziggler down on the mat. Looks like he's going to go for something big now. Eyeing Dolph Ziggler as he slowly gets up. Is he going to go for that double arm DDT? Yes, he is. vintage Mick Foley coming out of Dean Ambrose as he goes for the pin now for a 1, 2, 3. Dean Ambrose is your winner here. And that puts him pretty decent standing, tied with The Miz at 5th place. Now, I'm going to take all of these rankings that these guys get, and they're going to be implemented into my 2K16 universe. And that's going to be what gives each guy their initial stats, at least to a bit, and their initial ranking. I'm going to be adjusting the stats a bit. I'd have to say that from everything I've seen, they redid a lot of animations, which is really where the game either is awesome or breaks. Really, is in the animations, in the animation quality, because that's all. There's not a whole lot of mechanics. I mean, there's a fair amount, but it's not as mechanically depth as like, say, normal fighters are, I would say. That was the last match of Group B. And after that, we have a 4-way tie for first place. Now we are going over to Group A. Where we have The Rock and Undertaker starting out the round here. I just ended up getting a message of someone trying to get troubleshooting information. Not able to currently help them because I'm streaming for all you folk here. And this is going to be WrestleMania 30. This would be an interesting match, eh? Big Johnny, you can play in WWE 2K15 on PC. At least. I unlocked him with an NPC unlocker that I created myself. You can play any of the NPCs in the game, including guys like cameramen and security guards, stuff like that. Anyone that shows up as a character model in the game, you can play as in the 2K version on PC. I have tutorials of them on my channel. And that is where a lot of my inside game experience with this game has come from over the past few months. Big counter by Undertaker, able to get a boot into the face of The Rock as we're here at WrestleMania for round 8 of Group A. I would say their match, Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar at Hell in a Cell. You got to give it to Brock Lesnar because he's the guy that they're going to keep pushing. They're not going to keep pushing The Undertaker. They're going to keep pushing Brock Lesnar because Brock Lesnar can make more money over the long term by being stronger. Taking out someone like The Undertaker, not just in a fluke occurrence, but in a best-of-3 series. Actually sort of a best of he actually won the last match as well, but after a screwy finish, Undertaker was able to steal a victory, and then Brock Lesnar getting a strong victory on the third victory at Hell in a Cell. Undertaker's main match will make the credibility of Brock Lesnar even greater after he's had to have a few somewhat losses, like his loss of the title to Seth Rollins and not able to really take it back. So he had his value decreased a little bit, but now he's gaining it back by taking out Undertaker as he get a takedown by Undertaker onto The Rock. As we get an Irish whip around, and Undertaker sent strong into that corner. Nice shots and a takedown there as well. A couple of shots to the head is again by The Rock as he's favoring that. Irish whip around the ring into a nice sidewalk slam by The Undertaker. Sort of a vintage Kane maneuver by the other brother of destruction. Nice power bomb. And actually a last ride coming in by the Undertaker, slamming The Rock all the way 7+ feet in the air for almost a 3 count. The Rock just barely able to kick out here. And now it seems the Undertaker going for this tombstone pile driver. Slam dam. He's got to move those feet out from underneath the ropes. He might get a kick out here. That's a rope break, unfortunately, for the Undertaker. Rock has his foot underneath the ropes, and he gets a rope break. Nice whip around the ring. And, there's a counter there. Or rather, a dodge out of the way by the Undertaker. And now, Undertaker now with a giant throw. Undertaker going to the top rope. Not a common maneuver by the big man here. I mean, he does it occasionally. He hasn't done it as much lately, but he does get down, and Rock able to roll out of the way of that strike. Headlock applied into a nice DAT by The Rock, taking Undertaker down onto the mat. Both of these guys, big spine buster from The Rock. Undertaker has to keep this victory intact here, but only 1 count. If Undertaker does not keep this win, he will be falling down even more. They are tied at 4th place here. Nice DDT once again by The Rock. You want to stay in that big 4, we can easily get a shot at the title. Nice back elbow into the back of the head of the Undertaker. Undertaker seeming a little bit dazed, but a headlock onto The Rock here as you get a big suplex down onto the mat. Vertical suplex by the Undertaker onto The Rock. All of that height of the Taker. 2, 3. That height destroyed The Rock. And Undertaker is your winner here, taking out The Rock. And that puts Undertaker at 4-3 and The Rock at 4-4 with only 1 round to go. We are getting ever closer to the end of this tournament. Before they announced the DLC, I was somewhat upset that Los Matadores were not in the game because Primo and Epico were in 2K14 as the champions. And they didn't include them in 2K15. And they're only going to be included as DLC in 2K16, which is somewhat frustrating. And they're also not going to be with El Torito, which I think is the main reason that they're not included in the first place, or they weren't included last year. Oh, baby. We do have a WrestleMania match coming up for you guys now. There are some decent... There are some decent stakes at play here. John Cena is tied for first place. He has to keep that up in pace. He does not actually have a win intact right now. He has to get ahead of Randy Orton in order to win this group. Was it WWE 13 that Los Matadores were in? That's when I started making videos. I started making videos for WWE 13. I had a hot polished Colossus I was able to capture from my PS3. No, actually I was capturing from a 360 because I was able to do component out. We got a big power slam by John Cena. These two guys, John Cena and Brock Lesnar, have had several matches together where Brock Lesnar just kills John Cena. If John Cena gets killed by Brock Lesnar here again, John Cena is not going to be happy, as he'll lose out of his tie for first place. So yeah, I've been making videos for like 3 years now as we get into 2K16. I started with 2K13, I've gone into 2K14, and a lot of 2K15 and 15 on PC. And it'll probably be a lot more of 2K16 here. Nice belly-to-belly overhead suplex, just throwing John Cena across the ring. Big knee into the face. And a strike across the back here. Headlock applied as he brings Brock Lesnar brings John Cena up onto the mat here. He's got a big throw across the ring here. Brock just looking angry in this matchup as he takes out John Cena. Big match, John, here at WrestleMania. Will he be able to pull out the stops to beat Brock Lesnar here? As we get another giant belly-to-back suplex overhead. As we get a big elbow to the face. There have been rumors going around the internet that Los Matadores will be no more soon. And they will be going back to Primo and Epico with the possibility of Carlito, as they want to bring in another big Latin star since their loss of Rey Mysterio several years ago. And they don't seem to have a huge confidence in only a 2 count. They don't seem to have a huge confidence in Kalisto yet. Big toss to the outside by John Cena as Brock Lesnar gets thrown out to the concrete, slowly getting up here. Headlock to help him up here. And a grab by John Cena. John Cena is going to use the outside of this arena for his own uses here. Going to put Brock Lesnar. I wasn't sure what he was going for, but he gets a belly-to-belly suplex for his efforts. Hello, Austin. As we get a Irish whip into the steel post, sending the face of John Cena to that steel post. Brock Lesnar sidling himself back into the center of the ring and getting a bit of a jiggle as he gets a whip around the ring. Nice attack on the back. Del Rio seems to possibly be on good terms with WWE. It wouldn't be impossible for him to come back to the company as we get a series of 3 suplexes coming in. And a third taking down John Cena. Big maneuver there by Brock Lesnar as he gets a 2 count for his efforts. Will Brock go straight into the F5 here? Yes, he's got him up here as we get a takedown here. Takedown with that F5 onto John Cena. Rolls over for the pin for a 1, 2, 3. Brock Lesnar gets a huge victory over John Cena in this tournament. Now, normally that wouldn't be so huge, but Brock Lesnar has had a very poor tournament so far. He had 3 straight losses to start out this tournament. He is now 4-4 going into one more match. Our next match of the evening here is Kane and Randy Orton. Now Randy Orton can actually make that last match not as important by losing to Kane here. And it'll be interesting to see if that happens, because I'll have to take a look at what will happen with the rankings should that happen. Then the Big Show would have to win in order to get him into a 3-way tie. He has Chris Jericho in the last match, so that's probably a good sign for Big Show. So Randy Orton should win this match if he wants to maintain that first place slot, or else we're going to have a 3-way tie with Big Show and Cena. Yes, Del Rio had a conflict with an employee in which there was some racial slurs thrown by the employee who was not a wrestler. And Alberto Del Rio assaulted him, and Alberto Del Rio was charged with assault and thrown out of the company. It has been reported on the Wrestling Observer that the particular employee that was attacked by Del Rio has long since been removed from the company as well. And there was no hard feelings from Alberto Del Rio. I've listened to an actual interview where he's pretty much matter of fact about it, that WWE had to do what they had to do. They had a very serious assault case on their hands, and they had to placate the victim by removing Alberto Del Rio from the company because of that incident. And Del Rio understands, and we may see him in WWE again. That's not that bad of a situation. There have been worse. Yes, Primo and Epico are in 13. Another conflict that actually came into place was the original Sin Cara and Alberto Del Rio. Ooh, we got a second rope DDT coming in by Randy Orton already onto Kane here. He's got that signature maneuver here. Will he go into that RKO and finish this match? As I just told the story for far too long. As we get only a one count. Kane able to slowly get up here. Strike by Kane. Counter elbow here. As we get a sidewalk backbreaker by Kane, taking Randy Orton down with the mat. Nice leg drop across the throat of Randy Orton here. We get a big kick now. Back body drop from the giant height that is Kane. Couple of big stomps into the chest as well. Just got a couple more matches for tonight, folks. As we got a headlock applied by Kane. Let's go of it now. Oh, RKO out of nowhere. Actually busts open the head of Kane. Going to try and make sure to drag him away from the ropes and get a pinfall right in the center of the ring. Is Randy Orton for a 1, 2, 3. Randy Orton now has a significant lead. Significant enough that he might have a hard time losing this lead that he has. He has a one-match victory over John Cena and has also beaten John Cena. So the only man who really has a chance to take Randy Orton off of this throne is the Big Show. And he'll have to beat Chris Jericho and Batista in the next 2 rounds. We've got Mark Henry and Batista coming up now, though. Mark Henry. Batista. When Mark Henry could go, he can't quite go nowadays as well as he used to. But this probably, I probably would have enjoyed this match. They might have had a match. They were fighting around the same time. Mark Henry's been around the company for so long. Yes, Randy Orton is out on injury. And John Cena is also out on the leave. So we'll have the Shield. And hopefully Brock a little bit, maybe. Probably not because he's too expensive. But we'll have the Shield. That's who we'll have. Big power slam by Mark Henry. He's been favoring that move tonight, as have the Big Show here. These two big guys. I wouldn't be surprised if either of these guys don't do particularly well as singles competitors. I might end up making them a tag team. The world's largest tag team. I quite like them together. They had been hinted as a singles tag team in the past. We get this big splash by Mark Henry into the chest of Batista, putting all of that weight right into that big chest of Batista. Big power slam by Mark Henry, taking Batista down onto the mat. And a kick into the leg. Giant throw across the ring by Mark Henry, taking Batista down onto the mat. Once again, Mark Henry keeping a fair amount of offense here. He goes for a pin now onto Batista for a 1 count. As I said earlier, most people seem to only kick out at 1 at that maneuver. As we get another big throw from Mark Henry, throwing this giant Batista across the ring. And now we've got a military press power slam from Mark Henry. He's going for a pin now. but we got a rope break as just the toes of Batista were underneath the mat. Will we get a World's Strongest Slam? No. Counter. Batista with an Irish whip into the corner as we get a big spear out of Batista. A big knee grind across the face of Mark Henry. Gotta see where we're going now as we get an Irish whip across the ring. We're gonna get a pop-up World's Strongest Slam as he gets taken down onto the mat right in the corner. Gonna go for that pinfall now. He gets a 1, 2, 3. World's Strongest Slam takes out Batista. Mark Henry gets another win. Very good for him. Mark Henry was actually ranked 9th at the start of this tournament. He hasn't gone up a whole lot, but he has gone past the likes of Chris Jericho, Batista, and Kane, and is now ranked number 7, tied with Brock Lesnar and The Rock. So not exactly in bad company in Group A. Eric Rowan's face setup could have been better. I think it was very odd to make him a random genius and then not do anything with it. Aside from throw his head into a set of steel steps and make him mad at the Big Show and call him a bully. I don't think that was particularly compelling. They could have done it better, but we will see. Will Chris Jericho get his first win? Or will he be doomed? Doomed. This is the last match of this particular live stream, folks. And after this, I'll go over some permutations of what might happen in the last live stream. We got a bit of a grab by Chris Jericho, not really doing a whole lot right in the center of the ring. Big chops by Chris Jericho. Irish whip around the ring. And a big back elbow as well. He takes Big Show down onto the mat. As now he's going to go for a submission combination, wrenching the neck back of the Big Show, almost like a modified crossface. I don't know what your first name is, so I'm just going to say hi, Summer. Drop kick into the corner. Nice clothesline taken down. Big Show here. Once again, if Big Show is able to win this matchup, he'll put himself one match closer to Randy Orton. And I think Big Show and Randy Orton have probably met, and Big Show actually beat Randy Orton. Big Show is actually Randy Orton's only loss in this tournament so far. Nice enziguri by Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho already had to face another big man earlier tonight, but he did not get that big man into a Walls of Jericho or the Lion Tamer, depending on what you like to call it here. The huge arms of Big Show able to get him out of that situation, though. Get the rope break. They get a code breaker now, taking Big Show down on the mat. Will this be enough? This is the first code breaker I've seen in a while. As he gets a 2 count. Only a 2 count. Big Show able to kick out. Big punch into the face. As we get a sidewalk backbreaker by the Big Show, trying to keep the match pace down a bit more. It went a bit hot there with Jericho trying to get his own offense going on. Now Big Show going to slow it down to his own level. Going to just pick up Jericho. Military press. Just going to walk away. Let Jericho fall down onto the mat. Jericho able to roll out of the way of that kick, but gets a headlock for his efforts. Irish whipped into the corner now as we get a nice reverse splash, taking Jericho down on the mat. Big boot over the top there. Jericho gonna get picked up here. Counter punch. As he tried to go for a big punch there. Gonna get slammed against the mat now. It seems like Big Show. Oh, yeah, Big Show's coming for a comeback now. After that codebreaker did enough damage for Big Show to now get his own comeback, including that cross-body, taking down Jericho down onto the mat. As now he just does a nice spear to take Jericho down as well. He's going to go for a pin here for a 1, 2, 3. Big Show is your winner. And that puts him one match behind Randy Orton. See, I don't think Tyler Breeze will come for the championship, because if they were going to have him come for the championship, why not debut him on the actual pay-per-view? Why have him show up with Summer Rae and be in a rivalry against Ziggler? I have not been watching Raws for quite a while. So that was the last match of the night. For people that have not joined me previously, I'm going to take some chat time with you guys, talk about various things. If you guys have any questions for me, let me know, and I'll take some time to answer them out. Yeah, particularly about Tyler Breeze. Like, they had him in a segment with Summer Rae and Dolph Ziggler, and it seems like they're going to have him face off against Ziggler. I would be interesting if he does show up at Hell in a Cell. If he does face against John Cena for that U.S. title, it doesn't seem like... Seems like an odd pairing. And I'm not confident that the WWE would be confident in Tyler Breeze to pick up that title. That's probably where my head sits in terms of that the stars are not aligned for that to happen. It could definitely happen, but I don't think the stars are aligning for that. I haven't even had time to really watch NXT lately. I mean, NXT is tonight. I could probably watch it after this live stream while I edit stuff, but I'm probably going to try and record something else instead. I've just recorded 10 matches that are not in WWE 2K16, but are in 2K15 for PC. I'll be doing another live stream either Friday or Saturday. And then I will be also live streaming next Tuesday when 2K16 comes out. I will be trying to create a wrestler with you guys. I should make that event the day before so people know. But I don't know what time I'm going to do it. I'll have to figure out that. I don't know if Goldust is returning. And unless they have a story for him. I'm not sure. I didn't think he was out on injury. I just thought they didn't want him actively around, as they didn't want to continue the rivalry. Well, Cody didn't want to continue the rivalry with Goldust. Although we did get to see him at the latest NXT show, so we might see him come back soon. Goldust is a pretty cool guy, I'd say. I still don't know what I'm doing with him exactly in 2K16. I might have him in the Attitude Era. And a lot of people do seem to want to have Cody Rhodes back. I mean, I'm a big comic book fan, so I mean, the rivalry they had between Neville and Stardust was very cool, and I do like having Stardust lead the Ascension. I think that's interesting. They haven't done a whole lot with it, and have kind of like just let it fall off the side. I mean, it's still there, I think. I haven't really heard much about it, actually. I mean, putting the Ascension with Stardust hopefully brings the Ascension up and doesn't drag Stardust down. Because the Ascension have a pretty cool entrance and gimmick. And I will probably be using them a fair bit in 2K16. 2K16 in comparison to 15 and 14. I'm going to say that 15 is going to definitely be the worst out of the three, unless there's something glaringly wrong with 2K16 that they have been hiding. The showcases are a great addition with 2K15, but they weren't enough to really make up for the facts of the lacking modes that they have. Now, 2K14 had the 30 years of WrestleMania mode, if I remember correctly. And comparing that mode against the Stone Cold career path, I would say the Stone Cold career path probably is more interesting, just slightly. In terms of match types, 2K14 still wins. It has First Blood. It has Tag Team Tables match. It has a couple other matches. It has... I'm trying to remember. I don't think it had Slobber Knockers. It had Championship Scrambles, which are fun. Slobber Knockers were in 14. No. Slobber Knockers were in 14. Yeah, because that was the Beat the Streak mode. Beat the Streak mode was fun. I would like to see that again, in some fashion. Just a super hard AI with special powers is just something different to be able to play around with a few times. The only other person they could really do Beat the Streak with is really Goldberg. So they'd have to get Goldberg back. Goldberg was in 2K14, which is good. Which is a plus for me. I was a WCW fanboy when I was a kid, so he's always a plus for me. I'm not sure if I'd say that 2K16 is guaranteed to be better than 2K14 yet, and I don't think I would go there, because 2K14 does have the story creator, which is huge, because you can do so much more with that story creator than you can with anything in 2K16. I mean, it's not like 2K16 has a GM mode. The universe mode seems like it's going to be better than ever, because you couldn't put the story modes into universe mode in 2K14. I think they introduced universe mode in 2K14. Yeah, they did. Or 13. I don't quite remember. Maybe it was 13. Either way. Universe mode looks like it's going to be the best yet. My career doesn't have much, doesn't have to pass it by much, but yeah, I think it's going to be the best yet. I mean, it's not gonna. From the looks of it, it's probably not gonna be as good as my careers from back in the day. It's not going to be quite as customized. Ooh, I was just watching Forever a Moment. They had a big special that they created using the online stuff and a whole bunch of the story creator stuff. So I guess they'll have to move over to 2K16. Possibly. I'm probably going to be trying to take some inspiration from Forever a Moment. Trying to put more scripting into my universe mode. I'm not going to be as customized, because Forever a Moment is like a completely custom federation, and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be fairly grounded, but I want more input from you guys, definitely on my universe mode. I'm going to be doing a lot more live streaming, creative content. The one concept is to actually say, I'm going to go to Community Creations and download 20 guys. And we're going to take those 20 guys, we're going to try and narrow them down to like 5. I'll probably add those 5. And those 15 might come back in a later week. But we're only going to add a few. And we're going to try and get the best of the best and bring them into the universe mode. And hopefully that's something that you guys find entertaining. If you guys want to continue to follow me on other platforms, do follow my Twitch and my Twitter. I do try to tweet out when I'm going to actually stream a little bit beforehand. Yeah, their calls are not great, but they have a good production style, is what I enjoy. I have no clue what the biker theme song will be in 2K16. Maybe it'll be Limp Bizkit. Reportedly, Vince very much likes Limp Bizkit. Keep rolling, rolling, rolling. I am not going to be making so many. I'm not going to be making like YouTuber cause like they do. I might make one for myself for my career at some point. It's not going to be the first one. The first one I want to make is Angelico from Lucha Underground, but I'm not sure. That's going to be my first live stream in which I try to actually learn how to create a call with some proficiency. And hopefully my chatting buddy Apost Khan will be able to help me out with that. He's a pretty good call maker from some of the other games, and he does a lot of wrestling content as well on his channel. So you can check that out. And it is almost 11:10. I just have a little bit more time before I have to get to sleep. So I think I'm going to call it here, folks. I don't really know what they're going to do for 2K16 for the theme songs and The Undertaker. I don't keep huge tabs on it. I keep decent tabs on it, but I don't go in depth on specific people. I more go on the overall roster. So I have my own roster that I'm going to be trying to sort into what rosters there are going to be on separate shows. This is the quit button on the PC version. I didn't know there was a PlayStation Store on here. It's interesting that they reuse that slot. But I am now going to go offline. Thank you everyone for watching, and this has been Posum, and I thank you for your time.